In the late 1970s, Los Angeles became a city gripped by fear as young women began disappearing, only to be found murdered and discarded along its hillsides. What the world would later discover was that this string of horrific crimes was the work of not one, but two men, a pair whose partnership turned the city of angels into a haunting ground. This is the story of Angelo Buono and Kenneth Bianchi, the Hillside Stranglers. In the late 1977, the first bodies began disappearing. The young women all brutally murdered, their bodies left on hillsides in the Los Angeles area. The victims ranged in age from teens to early 20s, many of them runaways or women working. The murders followed a chilling pattern. The women were strangled and showed signs of torture. Some had been posed in grotesque ways, adding a sinister layer to the crimes. Panic spread as the media dubbed the unknown killer the Hillside Strangler. What no one knew at the time was that these murders were not the work of one killer but two: Angelo Buono, a smooth talking car upholsterer, and his manipulative cousin, Kenneth Bianchi. Together they formed a deadly alliance fueled by shared depravity and a desire for dominance. Buono and Bianchi's partnership was as toxic as it was lethal. Buono, the older and more dominant of the two, introduced Bianchi to his sadistic tendencies. They used their charm and fake police badges to lure victims into their car, promising safety before subjecting them to unimaginable horror. The LAPD was overwhelmed by the complexity and brutality of the case. The randomness of the victims and the calculated nature of the crimes made it nearly impossible to track the killers. Meanwhile, Buono and Bianchi continued their spree, escalating the frequency of their murders and revealing in their ability to outsmart authorities. The turning point came when Bianchi moved to Washington state and attempted to replicate the murders on his own. His sloppier methods led to his arrest for two murders in Bellingham. While in custody, Bianchi confessed to being one half of the Hillside Strangler duo, implicating Buono in exchange for alliance. In 1982, Angelo Buono was convicted of 9 murders and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Kenneth Bianchi, having cooperated with the authorities, received a lesser sentence of life imprisonment but avoided the death penalty. The trial captivated the nation, revealing the chilling details of their crimes and the twisted dynamic between the two killers. The courtroom became a stage for horrifying testimonies, including Bianchi's failed attempt to feign multiple personality disorder as a defense. For the families of the victims and the city of Los Angeles, the resolution brought some relief, but the scars left by the hillside stranglers remain. The case highlighted the terrifying ease with which predators can exploit trust and vulnerability, leaving behind a legacy of fear and caution. The Hillside Stranglers weren't just killers, they were a chilling testament to the horrors that can emerge from a deadly partnership. Their crimes forever changed the way we view trust and safety, and the darkness that can exist behind even the most familiar of faces.